That was a good game. That was a really good game. So glad I got a promotion. There was actually something I saw there that I really want to see back, so I'm going to check the replay. Oh, right. Treasure battle. Let's go. I am going to play with Katarina because I want to unlock some more stuff for her. Okay, this is not for Katarina. Why am I unlocking different items for a character that I'm not even using at the moment? I played Katarina specifically so that I can unlock more things for her. Not for you! Oh, just looking at this roster now, I really do miss Lei. Maybe I should send a tweet to Harada and ask him where is Lei.
Nope.
Okay then. With the success that Tekken 7 has had with its reception and sales, we can all assume that something with the game must have been done right. As much as I've enjoyed the Tekken series for well over a decade, you always want the best out of a game despite all its constant changes with time. And after its early 2017 release, and having a nice couple of months with the game, I still feel that the game is lacking a lot of things and hasn't drawn me as much to play it as I did a lot with the earlier Tekken games. So without any further delay and laziness from myself, here are my personal 10 things that Tekken 7 currently lacks. A very notable missing factor from Tekken 7 is the fact that this game lacks number 10, a tutorial mode. This is a very important factor considering that most fighting games nowadays have one. Let's for a second not worry about the statistics of how much Fight Lab was played on Tekken Tag Tournament 2. For new and veteran players alike of Tekken, I personally thought that it was a fun and interesting take on the tutorial mode. I kind of feel like companies now only rely on a professional scene with their games to keep the game afloat, and the casual scene almost has no choice but to sit back and watch a game that appears to look very complex to play and not knowing where to start if they wanted to get into it. I get asked a lot by people who want to get into Tekken about where to start. Most people usually tell them to find a character that suits their play style, learn some combos, learn the matchups, and things along those lines. But then how will you explain things to them like frame data, Okizemis, DSS, high crush, crumple stun, fuzzy guard, buffering, poking, punishment, electrics, and more? That's not something you're gonna learn just by playing the game, and scrolling text does not count as tutorials and tips, just no. Tekken 7 is a very rewarding game if you know how to play it well, and learning the fundamentals in the game is the way to go. If we look at other fighting game tutorials for example, you see how they break down the game mechanics step by step. Sometimes I think they overload you with so much information that you really have to take your time in digesting it all, but at the end of the day, you're definitely learning how the game is meant to be played. Game companies such as Arc System takes the crown in delivering the best tutorials for fighting games, and even though I'm not a crazy huge fan of 2D fighters, at least I'm well informed enough to even give them a shot. Once you've gotten the basics out of the way, your experience online will shape your knowledge as a player. Tekken definitely had a good thing going with the Fight Lab. If anything, they should have at least built on it and maybe updated it with the new mechanics that came along with Tekken 7. Casual fans and players play a huge part in a game's success, so don't exclude out that fan base with a rich game with no tutorial. So until something happens, we can at least rely on the community's input with tutorials for the game online. Oh wait, the game's been out for almost 6 months now, right? It wouldn't make sense to put a tutorial in the game at this point. Well, this is going well so far. Number 9. The return of Tekken Dojo. First off, does anyone actually remember what that mode is? Basically, it was the best version of Tekken's Ghost Battle mode. It was only found on the PSP version of Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection. You would go from dojo to dojo competing in various types of fights, working your way up to the number 1 spot of the dojo before moving on to the next one. It had a really rich and rewarding feel to it as you fought each battle, and it had a fairly good story element to it as well, so it kind of gave you that motivation of wanting to complete Tekken Dojo. Now, some fans of Tekken here and there have been asking for a trials and challenge mode for the game. Honestly speaking, I think that's a terrible idea. A mode like that just doesn't fit Tekken in my opinion. Things like that should stay on games such as Guilty Gear, Street Fighter, Blaze Blue, Marvel vs. Capcom and others. When you also look at those types of games combos, they go above and beyond the average hit number of Tekken, which usually ranges from 1 to 10 hits without including the wall. What could be a possibility, or at least something I can see in Tekken, is stipulation battles. Battles where you have to land a certain number of hits in a combo, beat a character in a certain amount of time, defeat your opponent with a rage art, things like that. They're already using a small fragment of this with some of the special fights you can do in treasure battles, such as double damage, turbo battle, aerial juggle, and boss fights. They could greatly expand on this and also use it as a way to teach players certain things. Some examples, they could have things like sidestepping Akuma's fireball and winning the fight, punishing a specific move being thrown out by the computer, interrupting certain strings, just things like that. To me personally, this would feel like much more than just an endless grind where you could play a character like Katarina and rubber band your way through these fights. These are things done in the past, so it's not a completely far-fetched idea. Add some stats to it, like they had in Tekken Revolution, improve the AI a bit, and you could probably have the best version of Ghost Battle to ever exist on Tekken. Number 8. Bring back What the Fuck. Oh, excuse me, World Tekken Federation. Why the hell did they use that acronym in the first place? You don't send a text message to a friend and tell him, hey yo, check this out, and he replies, WTF is that? You know he means, what the fuck is that, and not, World Tekken Federation is that? Oh boy. This was the equivalent of today's Capcom Fighters Network, which I believe is still going on strong since you need online access to be able to use it and of course play it online. It was a really awesome way to track your stats such as wins, losses, character usage, the amount of gold earned, and much, much more. Let's have a brief refresher on some of its features.
With the World Tekken Federation, you can track your statistics through your detailed player card, which charts your entire battle history right down to which moves you used and how often.
See, a feature like that needs to stay, but I don't remember being able to see what moves you used to use and how often. Information like that alone is important, especially when looking at high-level players and how they play.
As you hone your skills, you can watch yourself move up on the real-time worldwide leaderboards.
It wasn't exactly real time, but the data uploaded was fairly quick. With Tekken 7's current state of leaderboard tracking, it's kind of odd. It only seems to display your highest ranked achieved. So let's say you're a Suzaku and you got demoted to Seiryu. The leaderboard will only still show you as a Suzaku, so it's kind of misleading. Also now, stats have been reduced to a mere profile that you can check for each player online, and you can check your own stats in the player information found in the main menu.
And if going it alone isn't your style, you can team up with several other players to strategize, pool your resources, and earn points together.
Now, the team creation thing was a very cool concept, and I don't think that's anything we've ever seen in a fighting game before, or at least any I've seen. You didn't exactly team up with people together and get ranks online. You were still doing your own thing, but representing the team that you were affiliated with. You'd raise your team level the more you played, and that's about the only thing I can remember playing as a team. The point I'm trying to make though is that it made playing Tekken that much more interesting. Being able to track your stats with the games you played was a way to let you know personally what to add and subtract from your gameplay, learn from your mistakes, and learn from the best. And this brings me to my next point. Number 7. Replay data. Where the hell did it suddenly disappear to? We had it in Tekken 6, Tekken Tag Tournament 2, Soul Calibur 5, and even in Pokken. So why suddenly do we not have this feature in Tekken 7? I'm sure none of us want to rely on simply recording our footage from our consoles and consuming all the space on our hard drives. And we don't want to keep switching over to various video sources all the time either. I do enjoy being able to look at my own replays and see what mistakes I made, and also look at top level players play. There's something about not having a replay system in Tekken that makes it feel so incomplete in my opinion. With no tutorial in the game and no replay system to back it up, it greatly limits the newcomers of Tekken's resources. They're forced to learn the hard way and get better on their own.
Replays of your fights are saved in the Tekken channel, where you can pause and rewind to relive every combo and KO and learn from your mistakes, or your opponent's mistakes.
How would you like a nice cup of shut the fuck up?
I don't remember being able to do any of that. And when the World Tekken Federation was shut down, replay errors would occur while you got past the first round. Sometimes you like to see how far you've progressed as a player when you look back at some of your earlier matches and just reminisce about how you played back then. With no replay system and nothing to fall back on with the mistakes made, you basically have to abide by the get good or get wrecked rule on this game. This is why I started streaming a lot of Tekken 7 from time to time, so that I can look back at what I did and make adjustments where necessary. This is one of the few good things in Tekken that should have stayed, and hopefully we see the return of this soon. Number 6. No online mode for Tekken Bowl. This is a bit of a personal one for me. When you're tired of fighting and you just want to take a break, Ultimate Tekken Bowl does a good job of providing some entertainment for you and a friend. So why does it have to stop there? Maybe I'm just overthinking things here, but if the game was able to handle 2 players online fighting at once, wouldn't it be easy if 2 players were just taking turns bowling, competing for the highest score against each other? Or at least an online leaderboard of some sort, kind of like what they did with survival mode back in the earlier Tekken games. This mode is called Ultimate Tekken Bowl. Let it be for a good reason. But why stop there with some of the fun modes that Tekken has brought us over the years? Number 5. More game modes. Where's survival mode? Where's team battle? Tekken Force? Tekken Ball? What happened? It just feels so limited to me right now, and this is despite the fact that I play the game competitively online. But every now and then I'd like to play something else. The newcomers don't really have much to fall back on. Once they play story mode and finished it, they could probably play some treasure battles and stuff and then move on to another game. You're only really going to get a lot out of this game by playing online. But what if you don't want to do that? Survival mode, why is it gone? I enjoyed the challenge. And if you look at the leaderboards for survival mode wins in Tekken Tag Tournament 2, you could clearly see that there were a lot of people that really enjoyed it. That is certainly quite the grind though. Well played. Team battle? I was hoping for an online team battle someday. That would be awesome. But then again, if we didn't even get 2v2 online on tag, however, there was no way an online team mode was ever going to be a thing. But regardless, I also enjoyed this mode, especially when you play with a buddy and play with randomly selected characters for some laughs and some mayhem. Tekken Ball? We haven't seen that since Tekken 3. I'm not counting Tekken Ball on the Wii U because who the fuck plays Tekken on Nintendo? That was such a waste to put it on there. Like, what were they thinking? They should have brought it back to the PlayStation console where it was first introduced. Tekken Force. That was awesome. That's been in every main Tekken game until now. Tekken 3, Force Mode. Tekken 4, Force Mode. Tekken 5, Devil Within. Tekken 6, Scenario Campaign. Tekken 7, nothing. By the way, you see how people were all hyped about how Lars could use a gun and a small fragment of story mode? Did we suddenly just forget how in Tekken 6's Scenario Campaign you could use a minigun, a lead pipe, a flamethrower and all that stuff? I guess it was because of the way it was presented to us in Tekken 7 that suddenly looked so awesome. But you see the progression that Tekken Force had. It got fun and crazier with time. I loved messing around online with friends with Scenario Campaign. Anyone remember Nightmare Train? Why must we now not be without a Tekken Force mode? That's a great loss indeed. Number 4. More costumes. When they first announced the exclusive content for the PlayStation 4 version of this game, Legacy costumes were included featuring Jin, King and Xiao Yu's Tekken 4 costumes. Is that it? I expected more, a whole lot more. Why the hell did they stop there? We've been bumped when it comes to getting costumes, like the devil form costumes of Kazuya and Jin that were playable on the Tag 2 demo of Tekken fucking Hybrid, needing a sleek black costume that we first saw in the movie Tekken Blood Vengeance. Hell, give us that Jin desert costume as well while we're at it. And just to name a few of my favourite costumes, Yoshimitsu's Tekken 6 costume, Paul's badass Tekken 4 costume, Kazuya's Tekken 2 Player 2 costume, Eddie's Tekken 3 Player 2 costume, and Jin's alternate Tekken 4 costume. I do appreciate the fact that the developers left the characters' old costumes from the previous Tekken in this one, so now this pretty much sounds like a greedy request. Regardless though, costumes can attract players to play certain characters. At least, that's how I feel every time I see Nina's black costume. Unfortunately though, as much as we can try to replicate these costumes through customization, nothing is better than the real thing. Speaking of customizations, number 3, more customizations. Compared to Tekken 6 and Tekken Tag Tournament 2, Tekken 7's customization just feels way too limited. In Tekken 6 you had the options of being able to customize more parts of the body like the head, arms, waist, and even a hair base on the side. They added a nice little flair to the customization here from Scenario Campaign, as what you collected there contributed to the attributes you can turn on or off in your costumes. This was the Tekken where they first started to really delve into customizations. Tekken 5 was just a mere start of what they could do. Tekken Tag Tournament 2 is where people started to get really creative with the decals and designs that you could apply to your costumes, allowing you to do some crazy cool and fun things, including making letters to write some nice messages for everyone to see. If you had your own logo, you were even able to make that yourself and put it on your character's back. It was very, very cool. Tekken 7's customization feels like it took a step back, and the overall customization just feels a little too generic. Apart from colors and specific items for each character, there's not really much else after that, as it lacks variety. Regardless of the limited resources, however, people have still been able to create some nice customizations ranging from anime characters to superheroes. Number 2, legacy characters. This is definitely going to be an interesting topic. Compared to Tekken Tag Tournament 2's huge roster of 59 characters, Tekken 7 decreased this amount of characters by 35%, which totals up to 38 characters, with Geese Howard included. Along with this wipeout of characters, we got 10 new characters in this game. We've been made aware that the more characters they add into the game, the more complex and difficult it will be in balancing the game. Many people have expressed their opinions on how their favourite characters are missing from this game, and I can relate to this perfectly. I started playing Tekken since its second installment, and I kind of feel like I've grown up with the cast as they've played quite a precious role in my childhood memories. Just to name a few, Lei, he's been in all the Tekken games since 2, so why suddenly not put him in 7? June, wife of one of the most important characters in this game, and while this guy is wreaking havoc everywhere, did she suddenly just become a bench warmer as she just watches the chaos unfold? Christy, you might as well throw her into the mix, since we still got the bears, especially since for some reason they have separate character slots. Julia, Kunimitsu, Marduk, Bruce, Anna. Some characters are just too good to be excluded. Now we have to try and warm up to a Crybaby, a cosplayer, a Quincy, a vampire, my ex, a maiden, Raiden, Bane, and a guest character from Street Fighter who happens to play a stupidly important role in Tekken's lore as he's been there from like the very beginning. Deal with it. It seems as though through character usage and popularity, some of our favourite characters didn't make it in the game. I wouldn't want to wait until like a Tekken Tag Tournament 3 to be announced just to play them again. At least the characters that really deserve to be back. Some characters can really make the game. The only thing we can probably do at this point is just enjoy the characters that are currently in the game. While we wait for the second guest character to be announced in the near future, we can take the time to all form together as a unit and march in Bandai Namco's headquarters and get all the characters we want by force. Give it time. We never know what could happen in the future. I've been playing Tekken competitively for a good number of years, and it's been quite the roller coaster. I've had my ups and downs, my good days and my bad days, days where I'm on an endless win streak, and days where I feel like I'm the worst Tekken player ever. Nonetheless, it's the fighting game franchise that I've spent the most time online on, and the one that I personally feel most comfortable and experienced on. As the years went by with each Tekken game released, they gradually got more and more competitive. Now in Tekken 7 we have infinite revenge matches, where you can fight the same person over and over again as if no other players exist until either player decides to stop. They really make their slogan, "all fights are personal," mean something with these revenge matches. Overall, while participating in ranked matches, there's only one simple request that I'd like to make to let my online experience just become a little more of a tolerable one. Number 1, make Eddie's back 1-4 great again. As an Eddie main, I thrive off of people's saltiness. Back 1-4 is the answer to all my problems, and the reason why you probably lost a lot in Tekken Tag Tournament 2. Being able to do this once again will remind me of why Eddie was once so great. The nerf to this move was completely unnecessary. If you want to reach Tekken God Prime online, this tool was the best way for you to do so. Okay guys, thank you for watching and have a good day. Peace. Nah, I'm just messing with you. Number 1, implement a progression bar for promotions and demotions. The online ranking experience can be a long and tiring road. And I'm sure at one point we've all asked ourselves, when am I going to get my promotion? Battle after battle, with wins and losses here and there, it can be very hard to tell when that promotion is on its way. In fact, it's even harder to tell now when you have a promotion or a demotion, as with the most recent update on Tekken 7 during loading screens and matches, it has been removed. Usually your rank starts flashing, showing as an indicator that you have a chance at promotion, and a dim light for a demotion risk. This has now disappeared, and you can only tell once you start the game if you have one or not. Not knowing when you're going to promote, it's like getting on a train without knowing how long it's going to take you to get to your destination, let alone where you're heading. You plan your journey. You want to know where you're heading to and how long it's going to take you to get there. This is how it should be on Tekken 7. You should be able to know how many matches you have to win to get to your next promotion. We shouldn't be having to guess all the time. I tried manually tracking my progression and that only confused me even more. Just make it easy on us and have it in front of us. As much as some people in the community have tried to make the ranking system for us a little more easier to understand, there are of course some obvious flaws and incorrect data involved. And while we're on the subject of ranking up, why don't they also implement that special revenge match feature that they had on the arcade version? If I recall correctly, it was a system that allowed a demoting player a second chance at saving their rank, at the expense of their opponent having a chance at promotion. And how easy would it be to know when something like that will occur? A ranking progression bar. We don't want to keep having hour-long death matches with either player knowing who's closer to promotion or demotion. Take Street Fighter V's ranking system for example. You have 16 ranks to climb from rookie. On the side here with the numbers, you have the league points in which you have to accumulate enough of to climb to the next rank. So already, without even playing the game, there's a goal in front of you and you know specifically how hard you have to try to reach it. Tekken 7 has 37 ranks from first dan, and each color of rank you reach, the longer it takes for you to promote. Death matches do speed up the process a bit, but having a visual indicator would make ranking up a whole lot more tolerable. Don't just give us ranks to reach, give us a target, give us a goal. Right, I think that is enough from me. I do apologize, I did not think the video was going to go on for this long, but as you can tell, I probably had a lot to say. This has been a video that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. And when I mean a very long time, I mean even before the time that Tekken 7 was out, because I first wanted to do a top 10 things that I'd like to see in Tekken 7, but because I didn't give myself enough time to make the video, it never came out. So at least now, while the game is out, that has sort of converted into this video. And nonetheless guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I don't think I'm definitely going to say anything for Tekken for a while. And I do like making videos like this, you know, it's fun. It takes a lot of time, but they're fun to make, and some of you guys have been asking me to do something like this again, so yeah, here you go. I hope you guys enjoy this one. But yeah, that's my say on everything on Tekken, and regardless of it, I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys don't have, you know, a pretty bad experience. We all have those days, but just make the most of what you have, and whatever you don't know, you can always reach out to someone who's willing to help you out, like myself. You can always refer to the internet, watch some videos and stuff like that. And yeah, before I think about anything stupid to say, I'm gonna call it a day. Thank you very much guys for watching, and have a good one guys. Peace.